Hi, I'm Jeff Rasmussen, founder and host of the Legacy Family Tree webinar series. I'm here today with Elizabeth Schoen Mills to discuss her new webinar series, The Best of Elizabeth Schoen Mills Genealogy Problem Solving. This is one of the more exciting things I've been involved with in my genealogy career, and I'm so happy for genealogists throughout the world who are either new to genealogy and haven't had the opportunity to learn from Elizabeth, and I'm excited for those who have learned from her previously and are eager for a refresher. So let's welcome Elizabeth. Glad to
Thank
have
you,
you
Jeff.
here. So, Elizabeth, you hung up the speaking mic back in October of 2021 after a long and fruitful career. What brings you back?
You, you and this institution you created, I don't know if you think of it in those terms or not, but you have been at the forefront of the revolution in genealogical education. Across all the years that I've been teaching, decades, genealogy education required travel. We traveled to conferences, we traveled to week-long institutes, we traveled to Saturday seminars. And if you were an average genealogist with a full-time job and a family and other responsibilities, travel wasn't exactly available to you. And sometimes, if you were lucky, you could find a seminar within reasonable distance. And so you'd get up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, you drive 2 to 3 hours to get to this venue where some society has brought in some speaker, and you would get a day of education. And it would consist of, say, 4 1-hour sessions for which you'd be investing a 10 or a 12-hour day. And then, of course, COVID came along and disrupted everything that dealt with travel. And it also prompted many of us, millions of people in this world, to reassess how we spend our professional time and what we have left in life that we want to do, we haven't done yet. But in the middle of all this rebalancing of things, you and Legacy Family Tree webinars were already up and running.
Hmm.
And you've created a genealogical archive of thousands of seminars and webinars that anyone in any corner of the world at any time of the day, if they have an hour to spare, they can go to your website and have a choice of, say, 2,000 subjects that they want to learn about during that hour. And so when you emailed me with this proposition to add on this series to the three that I had already done with you, I knew what a special person you already worked with already, but I just couldn't say no.
Well, you've surprised me with your answer here, and I'm very humbled by that. And it is a really neat thing to be involved in something like this. And Elizabeth, over the years, when I've gone to national conferences myself, FGS, NGS, GenTech, whatever, Roots Tech, I've always been. I've spoken in classes, but I've always been the one in the what do you call it, the vendor hall,
Mhm.
and so I haven't been in your classes. And so uh, when I heard you were hanging up the mic, that was a tough thing for me personally because I want to learn from you, and boy, to be honest with you, Elizabeth, I was nervous to send you the proposition about doing this series, and oh, how happy I was that you were kind of thinking the same thing.
Well, I'm happy you had the idea.
Well, tell us about this new webinar series.
If I had to just sum it up in one word, it would be that big S word that's the secret to success in everything we do in genealogy, and that is strategies. Let me turn the table on you. I know in your private life you are a genealogist. So, what is your biggest challenge? Is it finding records or is it solving those brick wall problems?
Maybe a combination of both of them. However, I've thought even if I find those records, am I really looking at them the right way, and is there more to get out of them than I'm getting?
That's the crux of it right there. Everyone has brick wall problems. We have billions of records that are available to us at our desktop or on our phone, and yet we have these brick wall problems that we can't solve. And the one thing that I've learned the hard way across the years is that when we have these brick wall problems, success in smashing through those brick walls usually does not come from just finding another record. It comes from understanding how to use whatever it is that we were able to find. It's all about strategies. And that's why I enjoy teaching. If I could teach others those strategies that they can use to solve their own brick wall problems, then the whole field is better. The quality of the work is better. Our It's just a bigger, brighter world for genealogy.
Yeah. So this course or this series we're doing this year, we're doing one class each month. What advice would you give to brand new genealogists as they're learning from each of these classes?
Frankly, the advice I would give to brand new genealogists would be pretty much the same I would give to many seasoned genealogists, because I see the same issues at both ends of the spectrum here. I would say to let your work be guided by two more of those S words, and that's skepticism and soul. Skepticism is critical in everything that we work with. I once had a neighbor who was about 5'2", octogenarian. He was a retired U.S. Marshal, and he had a favorite saying: "It is a sin and a crime the way a piece of paper will just lay there and let anybody put anything on it." And that pretty much sums up the challenge that we face as genealogists. Skepticism is essential. With everything we find, we have to ask ourselves, why should I believe this? What's the evidence that supports this assertion that someone has made? We have to know how to distinguish between good sources and bad sources, and good information and bad information. Just because somebody has spent thousands of hours compiling a genealogy of our Who's It family, and they say that our John is the son of Bocephus, that doesn't mean that they have correctly identified our John. And we have to be able and willing to analyze and to evaluate everything. I might add too, this is so much more important in today's world, where we hang so many of our hopes and dreams now on DNA and spend some substantial dollars in getting that DNA data. DNA can tell us that someone is a match to us. It cannot tell us what our common or who our common ancestor is. It cannot tell us what line of each of our trees will get us to that common ancestor. We have to ensure not only that our tree is correct, but also we have to have the skills that are needed to evaluate and to correct every link in every match's tree. Because if their tree is off kilter and we are trying to use our DNA data to match to their tree, then their misinformation, their confusion will just undermine any work that we try to do.
Yeah.
Oh, and the other S word, let me not forget that briefly. So, an ancestor is not a name and a set of dates on a chart. An ancestor, every ancestor, was a living, breathing human being with a heart and a soul. They had hopes, they had dreams, they had successes and failures, and they had frustrations and they had joys. And if our pursuit of genealogy is going to have any meaning whatsoever, we must get to know each ancestor as a living, breathing human being and get to know their hearts and their souls. My philosophy in life.
I'm inspired. I love that you brought that up.
Thank you.
Elizabeth, I have a good feeling that through these classes this year in this series, we're going to train a whole new generation of genealogists to, well, do it right and to give us ideas that we may not have thought of any other way other than by learning from someone who's been there. And so me personally, yeah, I'm real excited to learn what you're going to teach us this year. So thanks so much for agreeing to be a part of this. Really looking forward to it. Okay, we'll see you throughout the year.
Thank you.